Sunil's here, an actor from South Africa. All the way from South Africa. We're expanding. We had Ohio the other day. We've had Rich from Miami. We've now got South Africa in the house. Thank you, Sunil, for joining us. Appreciate you spending some time here. Gary Thomas is here as well. Everyone's piling in now. Appreciate you all being here. It's just gone 9 p.m. here in the UK. It's time for the Act on This TV book club. I do a book club once a week on a Wednesday night, like tonight. This is the fourth and final time we'll be looking at Brendon Burchard's brand new books, High Performance Habits. It's a great book. We looked at 3 chapters of it so far over the last 3 weeks, looking at a final chapter tonight. There's a load of chapters we haven't covered and we can't cover. So if you want to read the rest of it and you enjoy what we go through tonight, get the book. It's not that expensive. I think it's about 12 quid, I think I paid for it, on Amazon. If you're watching on the replay on actsonthis.tv, a link to the book on Amazon will be below this video. If you're listening on the audio experience on the replay of that, please get yourself over Amazon. Just search High Performance Habits, Brendon Burchard. You will not be disappointed. So in terms of exciting news, I will tell you, because I know on the last broadcast, on Monday night's broadcast that I did, I was telling you I was awaiting the news on whether I got this it's literally the biggest voiceover job of my life. I can't tell you too much about it, but it's a huge 10-month gig basically on a brand new show, and I was going to be playing the lead character in it, and I got down to the last 2, and I was like, man, they were just making me do more tests and more tests, and there were some big names that I was up against, and I was thinking, oh, well, they've done more than me. All the usual insecurities that you kind of go through, even though I knew I could do it, I'm like, I know I can nail this. I just hope they don't go with a name because they just think he will be better. Turns out they didn't. They went with me. So, I just wish I could tell you kind of more about it. But, hello, Lucy. How you doing? Corey missed Monday night's broadcast. But, yeah, thank you. Congratulations, says Dawn. Got it. I mean, it's a good gig. There's definitely a chance at some point next year, any kids, because it's a kids thing, you might be, if you've got kids, buying them toys or action figures with my voice in it. I can't really tell you more than that, but I hope so. That would be really cool if I could have my own figure. I'd just go and like stand on the aisle in like a toy shop and just like with one of the toys, just doing the voice for the kids. Be ridiculous. But yeah, I'll be able to vlog more of that. So you'll see more of that on the weekly vlog that I'm doing right now. If you've not watched the weekly vlog right now, get yourself over to facebook.com/watchross after this. Don't go there now. Don't leave us. And I've got 3 episodes out. I do it every week, so a new episode comes out every Monday. And this is like a warts and all, behind-the-scenes look at my life, my acting career, my voiceover career. You'll see me in the episode that's coming out next Monday, voicing a documentary series. You'll see all behind the scenes of online business that I run. I just take the camera literally with me everywhere. Here's a 1-minute clip of the current episode that just came out on Monday to whet your appetite. Check this out.
Oh, you're joking? What, another audition or the actual job? Read it, because we could get excited for nothing here. This is Game. This is the shop that I spent 10 years of my life in, kidding myself that I had to work here in order to support myself as an actor. It was never going to work. Thank God I finally got out at some point.
Hey, just drink it, honestly, you'll like it. It's a brilliant series as well. I would love to do this. And it means that I don't have to audition for it again, they're just going to choose. Tell them I'm like so available, I'll drop anything for that. God, he's actually necking it.
There's 2 jokers on the escalator, filming shit. They could be dangerous. This is literally ridiculous. Keep all this, keep it running. Oh. So I had this shirt, basically. Liam was sick all over it. Thanks, Liam. Got so excited after that phone call, I just put my headphone in my coffee. We haven't even planned this.
We don't plan any of this.
None of this is remotely planned.
There you go. That's a 60-second little trailer. So you'll see there, that was actually me taking the phone call from my agent to tell me I was down to the last 2. And I'd written myself off on that project because the initial auditions were 8 weeks ago. So this what it's really taught me, by the way, like out of everything, of like, I don't know, it's belief in yourself in terms of, even though you're up against the big boys, if you know you're talented and you can do the job, don't let the fear of like the people with more experience, just pipping you to the post or whatever, because that just, that hasn't happened this time. But also never kind of lose the faith in terms of how long you're waiting. I didn't realise, but I did my audition 8 weeks ago. In that time, they'd been auditioning loads of people in between, yet they'd not got me back in to re-audition because they were just quite happy with what I did initially, and they were just comparing these other reads other people were doing to my original one, until they got us down to 2, and then over the weekend they chose the final one. So yeah, if you went for an audition 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, definitely don't focus on it and go, I'm just going to, focus on your next opportunity. But never write yourself off, because you just never know. I'd completely written that job off, and then turns out that I'd got it. So if I had been worrying about it and focusing on it, or gutted that, I thought I hadn't got it, it would have been a load of wasted energy. So just keep the faith. Gary says, did you know anyone on the show? No, Gary said, no, I don't. So it's actually, there's going to another 3 voiceover artists doing this show. Some pretty famous voices as well. So there's the lady who does the voice of Horrid Henry. There's some people from like Thomas the Tank and people from Magic Roundabout and all that kind of stuff. But I can't tell you the characters or kind of like what the show's about or anything like that. I've had to sign an NDA, but I didn't know any of those people beforehand. What I did know, and what we talked about on Monday night about your network being so important. The thing for me that is absolutely critical is I met a great director and studio engineer called Hannah a couple of years ago when I started doing animation, and I've kept a really strong relationship with her. She's really looked after me and bringing me in for castings and auditions for other animations and stuff over the years, and I've really gone out my way to both of us have gone out of our way to accommodate each other to keep that relationship going. And if I hadn't have done that, there's no way Hannah would have no one else would have brought me in for this, because they were just seeing really established names. But she was like, you know what, Ross, I just want to throw you in the mix. And we just thought, be experienced for me. Didn't neither of us, in all honesty, thought it was going to happen. But it has. But that was all that on my network. I would never have been given that opportunity, because that casting didn't go out on Spotlight, didn't go out, to acting agents or voiceover agents. It was an invite-only thing. So your network is so critical. So I hope you've been doing those 6 things that we talked about on Monday night about increasing your network. They were all activities you can do basically online or via phone within 30 minutes to increase your network. So you really must be doing that. It's the one thing that has impacted my career more than anything else. It's who knows me. It's not who I know. I always say that it's not who you know. It's who knows you. You need as many people in this industry as possible to know you, and then you will just find opportunities, being given to you without having to work as hard. You still got to work very hard, but you won't have to work as hard if you're nurturing those relationships as you go. Will this be a good thing for you in terms of your CV then, making you more prominent? Definitely. Yeah, 100%. Particularly, it's a BBC production, so particularly within that realm, yeah, I would say so. So hopefully it will lead on to more. We've got 10 months, so we've got 78 episodes to do. And potentially, if they're successful, who knows, they might go, right, there's another 78 we want you to do. Which is good. It's just, it's very, very stable work. And again, financially, it's a game changer. It's the most money I've ever earned, from a voiceover. It's significant. So keep the faith. Shariza, good evening. Great to see you here. Let's get on to the book club, guys. So like I said, this is the 4th and final chapter we're going to be reading on Brendon's book, High Performance Habits, and it's actually titled Raise Necessity. Now I know that's not very clear, and you're like, what the hell is like necessity? What is it? There's 3 parts of this chapter. And necessity, really, it starts with a quote from Albert Einstein, which I think is pretty good. It's not that well-known quote. I've never really heard it before. But it says, only one who devotes himself to a cause with his whole strength and soul can be a true master. For this reason, mastery demands all of a person. And I really think, just success in life, that necessity in terms of it's absolutely necessary for you. You feel that, there's some kind of deep divine thing inside of you that's like, I have this drive, this necessity to get what I want, to set goals, to hit them, to have success. It really does demand all of you. People quite often say to me, people today, I had a phone call of somebody who had watched the first couple of episodes of my vlog, and they now want me to do something at an event down in London, a business event, early next year. And he was like, man, I've noticed you putting all this content out here. It almost seems like I'm just everywhere, and that's quite easy. I was like, Pete, you don't understand like how little time right now I have for myself. Like no evenings, no, really for myself. I have an hour in the morning for the gym, and I'll have some time out on a Saturday or maybe a Friday night, some of Saturday day. Rest of the time, devoted my whole self. And it might seem on the outside that just constantly putting out content, it's dead easy. It's not. It's really hard. I get so overwhelmed sometimes. I am just as liable to getting stressed as everyone in here, regardless of what you know and how to deal with it. Sometimes I am like, oh my God. Like I just had to drop everything before and just completely tidy this office because it was just getting absolutely on my tits. It's like I can't do anything whilst there is shit everywhere. And it becomes debilitating in the point where I can't focus on anything. Like I really need, I'm overwhelmed right now. What's the one thing I could do right now that's going to make everything else easier or necessary? Tidy the room. So that's what I did. So you'd need that necessity to go, you know what, even though it's shit and it's hard, it's just going to work and work and work right now because I know it's going to pay dividends in the future. So it starts off with a conversation between Brendon and 3 Marines. I've got such massive respect for armed forces and for anybody. Like that's, you know what, that's like real. You know what, joining up, signing up to the army, going and defending your country and actually, doing a good job. That's massive success in my eyes. That's so brave. I would never have. I just wouldn't. I just completely hold my hands up. It's not in me unless it was absolutely essential. And we all had conscription again, and we all had to sign up for the army. Really, just ain't. It's just on another level. So massive shout out to anybody who's ever served in the armed forces. You're incredible. Caroline says 100% agree, and she also says she would have hoovered for me. Caroline's a proper serial hooverer. So he says, so he starts off and goes, what else could I do? The 3 Marines sitting around Isaac nod as a waitress refills their coffees. I ask, you didn't have a choice? He laughs, well, there's always choice. Right about then, I had 3 choices. Shit my pants, run away, or be a Marine. I laugh harder than anyone at the table. The other guys are used to this kind of thing. I ask him, what did you say to yourself as you ran toward the explosion? Isaac was on a foot patrol when one of his platoon's vehicles hit an improvised explosive device. The explosion knocked him down and out. When he came to, he saw the vehicle smouldering, engulfed in a spiral of smoke and taking enemy fire. I mean, I just cannot comprehend what that must be like. That's when he started running towards it. You just think you don't want any of your guys to die. That's all you really think about, the guys. Isaac stares out of the cafe window and no one speaks for a moment. Everyone seems lost in his own stories. Sometimes, Isaac continues, everything you are comes into play in a moment. It was just a few minutes ago. He says, I remember it like it was just a few minutes. I remember it like it was a 2-hour movie. It's like your whole life and all that you stand for meets the needs of a moment. He looks down to his wheelchair. It just didn't end like I thought it would. I'm useless now. It's over. So he's not in a good way. He thinks, being in this wheelchair completely screwed his life up. Isaac may never walk again. He's a hero for providing the cover and action that helped evacuate one of the survivors of the blast. He was shot just as they got the injured survivor, one of his close friends, to safety. One of the other Marines at the table scoffs. It's not over, man. You'll recover. You're going to be just fine. Isaac huffs back. Do you ever see me? Or do you even see me? I can't help myself. I can't serve my country. What's the point? His friends look to me. You're right, I say. There is no point. Unless you choose to make one. Either the point of your pain is to say to the world, this is how I've chosen to deal with this, by giving up. Or the point is to show yourself, your fellow Marines, and the world that nothing will stop you or the spirit of service in you. My words land flat. Isaac just crosses his arms. I still don't see the point, he says. One of his friends leans in, and you never will if you don't have a reason to be, man. You're done. But the deal is, you choose the reason. You don't have to get better, or you choose that you must get better. It's up to you. One choice sucks and makes your life miserable forever. The other gets you out of bed. Isaac murmurs, why try? Then he remains quiet. It's that silence no one wants to be a part of, watching someone on the edge, unsure whether to give up or live. After a while, it becomes clear he doesn't feel he needs to make a choice at this moment. I can tell it's frustrating his friends. Indecision is not something Marines do well. I can imagine, yeah. You can't just go, do we go in, boys? Do we do this? They're shooting at us. What do we do? I think Marines just make choices, don't they? Pretty quickly. Finally, one puts his face just inches from Isaac's and looks at him with an intensity only a military man can get away with. Because, damn it, Isaac, You don't have any choice. You don't have any other choice because you're going to obsess about your recovery the same way you trained infantry, like a Marine, because your family is counting on you, because we're here for you, but we won't accept excuses, because a warrior's destiny is greater than his wounds. So he just gives him a bit of shit there to stir him up. I share this story to illustrate a rather uninspiring truth. You don't have to do anything. I've said this before, haven't I? Like, particularly in this country, in the UK, if you don't want to do anything, you literally don't have to do anything. You know, to a certain extent, the government and the country will look after you. If you can't be asked doing anything, you don't really have to. But I don't think that's, you know, really a fulfilling life, is it? You don't have to show up for life, for work, for your family. You don't have to climb out of bed on a tough day. You don't have to care about being the best you can be. You don't have to strive to live an extraordinary life. And yet some people do feel they have to. And why is that? That's what we're going to look at tonight. The answer is a phrase that explains one of the most powerful drivers of human motivation and excellence: performance necessity. And it's the first time I've heard it called that. Performance necessity. Will Isaac get better physically? Well, in many ways, it's up to him alone. The doctors have said he may walk again if he works hard for it. There are no promises, they tell him, but there is a possibility. Will he get better emotionally? Well, again, it's up to him. He has plenty of support around him, but lots of people who need it are offered support and don't take it. But the only difference lies in whether someone decides it is necessary to get better. No necessity, no consistent action, basically. Necessity is the emotional drive that makes great performance a must instead of a preference. Who feels here their acting career or whatever it is in their life? What have you got in your life that's a must? It's a must for you. It's not a preference. It's not like, oh yeah, I'd quite like to do that. I've contemplated walking away from the acting industry many times, and every time I can't do it. I know I could make a lot more money, I think, in business and online stuff than I could with acting. And sometimes I'm like, would it just be easier to do that? I've thought that in the past years ago, and I'm like, every single time I've gone, I just can't do it. It's like it is a must. It's not just a preference. Gary says writing. Steve says his acting career as well. It's different, isn't it? It's a totally different feeling around something when it's a must and it's not a preference. Fanny says it's life or death for her, and Caroline agrees as well. So necessity is the emotional drive that makes great performance a must instead of a preference. Unlike weaker desires that make you want to do something, necessity demands that you take action. When you feel necessity, you don't sit around wishing or hoping. You get things done because you have to. There's not much choice. Your heart and soul and the needs of the moment are telling you to act. Interesting, isn't it? It's telling you to act. It just feels right to do something. And if you didn't do it, you'd feel bad about yourself. You'd feel as though you weren't living up to your standards, meeting your obligations, or fulfilling your duties or your destiny. Necessity inspires a higher sense of motivation than usual because personal identity is engaged, creating a sense of urgency to act. And this heart and soul and destiny stuff might sound woo-woo, but it's often how high performers describe the motivation behind many of their actions. For example, Brendon says, in my interviews, I often ask high performers why they work so hard and how they stay so focused, so committed. Their responses often sound something like this. Have you ever heard yourself saying things like this, guys? Give me some hearts or some comments on Facebook. Have you heard yourself saying things like this around your acting career? It could be around other stuff, though. Your kids, I'm sure. You know, maybe your health, your physicality, maybe your family, your parents, all kinds of stuff. It's just who I am. Anyone said that before? Why do you need to act? It's just who I am. I can't imagine doing anything else. This is what I was made to do. Craig Davis said born to do it, didn't he? Anyone feel born to just do something? There's also a sense of obligation, though, and urgency as well sometimes. People need me now. They're counting on me. Fanny said, I don't really say it's just who I am. What do you say then, Fanny? Other one that's a sense of obligation is people say, I can't miss this opportunity. Or if I don't do this now, I'll regret it forever. Who's been in a situation like that? All right, Sam's here as well. Sam says yes. So she's used some of those before. I think we've all used at least one of them, haven't we? It's just who I am. I can't imagine doing anything else. This is what I was made to do. People need me now. They're counting on me. I can't miss this opportunity. The people need me now. They're counting on me was a big one for me when I've been running marathons for charity. And I felt like at 20 miles that I just wanted to stop. I'm just like, I just can't, this is really hurting now. And I run for a lot of blind charities. because of my eye condition. And I'm like, you know what? There's people with my eye condition who are currently blind now. It's got that bad for them. Mine's, it's going to get worse. But right now, I'm cool. I can run. And for me, it's very much like those people are counting on me now, and there's a duty and obligation because they would probably give anything to swap places with me. So I've used that one quite a bit. People need me now; they're counting on me. They say things like what Isaac said. It's like your whole life and all that you stand for meets the need of a moment. When you have high necessity, you strongly agree with this statement. Okay, so you all, hopefully, if you've got necessity, will agree with this. I feel a deep emotional drive and commitment to succeeding. I feel a deep and emotional drive and commitment to succeeding. Lucy, with your film right now, maybe you feel like that, a deep emotional drive and commitment to making that film succeed. Samantha says I can't imagine doing anything else. So yeah, I feel a deep emotional drive and commitment to succeeding, and it consistently forces me to work hard, stay disciplined, and push myself. People who report strong agreement with statements like this score higher on the high performance index in almost every category. They also report greater confidence, happiness, and success over longer periods than their peers. And when this emotional drive of necessity doesn't exist, no tactic, tool, or strategy can help them. So you've got to have this emotional. It's like a feeling in it for me. Brendon says, if I've learned anything from my research in a decade of interventions developing high performers, it's that you cannot become extraordinary without a sense that it's absolutely necessary to excel. You must get more emotionally committed to what you're doing and reach that point where success or whatever outcome you're after, it's not just an occasional preference, but a solid, soul-deep necessity. It's a soul-deep necessity. And this chapter that we're reading now is about how you get that. So I'm not going to read, obviously I can't read all of it. There was one part that resonated with me the most, and I use this kind of work that we're going to look at now with all the Bulletproof Actor students when it's a program that I do. If you've never heard of it before, it's a program I do just once or twice a year. It's a 5-week intense program online that I take actors through, ultimately to instill an unstoppable confidence in them and that drive to succeed, ultimately. But I want to read this section, which is titled, if I get to it, it's a big chapter, this one. It's called practice number 1. Okay, so Brendon always gives you like different practices within these chapters that are going to help you get what the chapter's about, and ultimately, hopefully, we're going to give you more necessity by the end of this broadcast tonight. But practice 1 is to know who needs your A game. And we're going to be looking at what A game even means. What is your A game? I used that phrase today when I messaged the director of this animation that I got. Because I Googled the people I was going to be working with, and my message was exactly like, holy shit, like these have done so much, I'm going to have to bring my A game. So what is your A game? So it says, not only must we be good, but we must also be good for something. Okay, to help you tap into both the internal and the external demands of necessity, try this simple practice. Now, this might be different because we don't, not everyone here is going to have a desk job. People are going to be doing lots of different kind of work and things, but you'll get the intention Brendon's setting out here. He gives us an exercise to do. I can use this because I often sit at this desk every day, but it's quite an interesting one. It says, to help you tap into both the internal and the external demands of necessity, try this simple practice. Set a desk trigger. So for you, it might not be a desk trigger. It could be a table trigger or a chair trigger, something. A place where you spend quite a bit of time, at least once a day, where this can trigger these thoughts for you, okay? So it says from now on, whenever you sit down at your desk, that's the trigger action, okay? So for you, it could be something else, but you ask yourself this question: who needs me on my A game the most right now? Who needs me on my A game the most right now? And everybody here has, I hope, has got people in their life who needs them on their A game right now. Okay, so Lucy could be your fella, could be Danny, Fanny could be your daughter, Steve could be your mum. It could be anybody. And it might change as well. This is why you ask yourself this question quite a lot. Okay, so he says your butt hits the chair, and then you ask and answer the question. That's the practice. He said, I love this practice for several reasons. 1, it's simple and something anyone can do. 2, the trigger is based on something you do frequently. So you sit down at your office chair, whether your office chair is the kitchen table or in a high-rise corner office. He says, I bet there's a lot of places you probably sit down and it's your office. Maybe it's in Costa Coffee. I spend a lot of time in coffee shops. That's my office. 3, it forces you to do a quick gut check. The mere mention of your A game forces an an internal review. What is my A game? Have I been bringing it today? What would my A game look like in the next hour or so? What is your A game? What do people actually kind of understand as their A game? What is it? I'd love to know some definitions of it. Sam says, I feel very lucky. I know a lot of people at one time or another that I have said I just don't really know what to do with my life. I have never had that. Oh yeah, people just, that's just lack of clarity, Sam. That's so common when people haven't found their passion or what they really want to do with their life. And so, I mean, some of the most interesting people I've ever met really didn't find that out until much later in life as well. Finishing my new play tonight will be my A game. Would be my A game, says Gary. Yeah, awesome, man. Honestly, there's times today where I've crammed a lot in today, and I've been like, right, I should have a sit down now for 5 minutes, and I'm like, no, you know what? I can't stop. My A game would need such a massive shift, and I'm too scared to make that change. Methinks. Wonder what that is, then, Fanny. What do you mean? What does your A game look like, and why are you afraid? I don't know what my A game is. I just try my bloody hardest, says Lucy. Well, let's have a look. We're going to look at it more with Brendon in this book now. So asking yourself that question, when the question again is, who needs me on my A game right now? Okay, who needs me on my A game the most right now? What he likes about this says the question also forces you to think of someone else. Whether by duty, obligation, or purpose, they ended up on your radar, and now you can have an external person or group to work for. When you have someone external to take action for, you tend to perform better. You just do. Just like full stop. Finally, I like the phrase the most right now. He says it's an immediacy focused. It is immediacy focused, and yet the most makes you examine your priorities. And yep, you guessed it, your real deadlines. So again, it could change every day. The person who needs you the most today could be, I don't know, somebody, a family member going into hospital, and you've got to really, really be there for them. And then they have the operation today, and then tomorrow, it's like, actually, you know what? They're all safe. It's all good. It all went well. Tomorrow, your A game could be somebody completely different. So it does make you focus on the immediate. Brendon says, I started teaching this practice to my clients because I've never met a high performer who didn't consistently ponder whether they were giving their best, and not just for themselves, but for others. They have come to assess their performance at regular intervals. By giving by giving you a desk trigger, I'm helping you bring that skill to your conscious habits. I'm also helping you step into a spirit of service, because that's what high performers do. They're grateful for life, so they're generous with others. People often ask me to clarify what it means to be on your A game and how you get there. Being on your A game means that you're giving your best effort. So Lucy, you're right. You're giving your best effort with full focus on the singular task at hand. To get it, you need to stoke the internal and external demands of necessity. Specifically, you assume the identity of a high performer, and you set up situations that require full immersion. In other words, you get to your A game through the gates of identity and immersion. So I guess you can't be on your A game if you're I was going to say if you're fannying around. I don't mean that like you fanny, but if you're doing a little bit of this or you're doing a little bit of that. Like Albert Einstein said at the start of the book, you've got to commit fully, soul deep, okay? And we're going to look at like 4 different types of people, or 5 types of people, and you're going to put yourself into a category, and you're going to be honest with me. Don't lie to me, right? Okay? So in the game of life, you get to choose your identity. So you, even if you don't know it, good evening, Wendy. She's come back from rehearsal with green hair. Even if you don't know it, you have given yourself an identity, right? This is the person who you see yourself as. You feel the external world sees you as. And to a certain extent, it's the mask that you wear when you go out, because you're like, this is me, this is what I identify with. Let's have a look at these, okay? So you choose your identity, who you will aspire to be, and how you'll show up. That choice of identity will dramatically affect how well you perform. Consider the difference between these identities. Now, the first one, have we got any dabblers in the house tonight? Dabblers have a passing interest in the game of life. I hope not. They look at many things and try many things, but they never really jump into anything with full engagement or commitment. Anyone been one of them? Anybody been a dabbler? Fanny says she doesn't like her identity anymore. Well, we can look at that. I don't understand why. But yeah, anyone just dabbled in stuff? Because that gets you nowhere. You get a lot of people, don't they? Again, and like Sam said, people who just don't know what to do with their life. You should taste as many things as you can in your life. But when you find one you really like the flavour of, you go all in on it. Or at least 2, go in on like 2 or 3 things. Was a dabbler 20 years ago, says Gary. So up from the dabblers, we've got novices, okay? we've got novices here. Novices have interest too, but at least they are intent on developing some expertise in an area. They tend to jump in deeper than dabblers, but their issue is they don't deal well with discouragement. And I know a lot of people who are novices, okay, because they get relatively good at something, and then they, as always in life, you're going to hit a snag, you're going to hit a hurdle where you go, oh, okay, this was quite easy to begin with, but now I've mastered it to a certain extent, it's much harder to progress. And then they get discouraged and they give up. And then they try something else and the same thing happens. And then they give up and they try something else and the same thing happens. Before you know it, they've done everything. You know, I know people who have trained to be tree surgeons, then they've gone to be a plasterer, then an aromatherapist, then a massage expert, then a Reiki master, then an actor. This is one person I'm thinking about, like literally in particular, who's tried to master all of those things. And they've just been a novice at all of them. They've never really, developed like a pro level of anything. So novices stop at obstacles because they don't have much of their identity in the fight. Amateurs up from novices. So, might have some amateurs knocking about here, but amateurs have more than an interest. They have passion. They've jumped in deep and they truly engage a subject and want to get better. They get through more obstacles than novices do, but they tend to remain at an unskilled level unless they get fast and positive feedback or recognition. In other words, they need a lot of external validation to continue. So they need a lot of people to go, oh, you are great, you're amazing, keep going, keep going. Dabbled when I was kidding myself, says Sam. Kidding yourself on what? But hopefully you're not dabbling anymore. Up from amateurs, we've got players. Okay, so might have some players in the house. Players have passion, but also greater commitment and skill. With great focus, they teach themselves to master one area of the game. They excel and find themselves happy as long as they get their turn and get compensation. But if the game changes or the rules change, they're quickly embittered. Players desperately need the rules and routines. They don't like disruption or negative feedback. They need a high degree of fairness if they're going to participate. If someone on the team gets paid more than they do, they freak out and quit. They're committed to becoming a success in their position, but rarely achieve a holistic level of success in other areas of the game of life. To them, it's a game to be won, and there's not much beyond that. So there's no taking part that counts for them, bad boys. And if it ain't fair, they're taking the ball home. That's a kid who's like, good at football, but the minute the ball hits him in the face by accident, he starts crying and takes his ball home because suddenly it's not fair. Then we've got what I want everyone in here to aspire to be. Top level, we've got high performers. Now, high performers are like players, but with greater all-round necessity. This drive, okay, this passion, this must, all right? It's a skill and a team spirit. They're all in on the game. They play at a high level no matter what the recognition or rewards, because the game is intrinsically rewarding and also part of how they view their service to the world. Their identity is tied to the game, but also to the team and those they serve. They don't want to master just one area of the game. They want to be known for the game itself. And yet, unlike players, they don't mind sharing the spotlight. They have such a high degree of personal excellence and duty to the team, they become the go-to person in every game. They stand out because they not only deliver exceptional individual performance, but also make every person better through their influence. These are more casual descriptions than I've made elsewhere in the book, says Brendon, but I often share them to help people realise they have a choice. If you want to be on your A game, you can't be a dabbler. You can't be a novice, an amateur or a player. You must consciously choose and try to will yourself into being a high performer. If you're going to bring your A game regularly, you've got to describe that identity for yourself and step into it every single day. In addition to choosing a high performance identity, you'll have to immerse yourself fully in activities that force you to stretch. You can't just prance around thinking you're good. You have to put yourself in situations that make you good. Fortunately, research has clearly outlined exactly what will help you find those challenging and immersive experiences. This popular concept in positive psychology is known as flow. According to, and I can never say this guy's name, anyone know how to say Mihai Csikszentmihalyi? Mark Dharma trained with him at the Claremont University on high performance psychology, and I can't say it. The name is ridiculous. It's spelled Csikszentmihalyi. I'm not even going to try. But he basically coined the term flow. Okay, and flow happens when several of these elements are in play. Let's look at these elements that will get you into flow. 1, you have goals that are clear and challenging, yet attainable. Anyone here not got a goal right now? Have you got a goal that's clear and attainable, yet it still stretches you, and it's gonna, it's gonna make you push yourself. Anyone not got one of those? That's me. It's confirmed. I'm a player, says Fanny, with fluctuations between amateur and high performer. That's interesting to know. And Gary says that's why he's high performance. What, the guy with a me high, I can't say his name. But yeah, who's not got a goal right now? And if you've not, let's get you a goal for like this month. It's the 11th of October as I record this for those on the replay. If you've not got a goal, let's get you a goal for the end of October that's attainable, but that's also going to challenge you and stretch you a little bit. For me, my goal this month totally was all to do with the vlog and reaching a certain number of subscribers on YouTube so that I could get a custom URL on YouTube. Very straightforward. I just wanted the URL, youtube.com/WatchRoss. You can't get that until you've hit a certain number of subscribers. I now hit that number of subscribers, but I've still got to wait 30 days before I can have it. I think I'm a 5. A 5 on what, Dawn? Have you got goals, basically? I hope you have. I think Helen said she's got goals. I have, but it's a kid's one. Need an adult one. What, an adult goal? Or you mean, I don't know what you mean, Steve. Or have I just missed some other chat here in the comments that you're all talking about something else? But yeah, 1, okay. To get into flow, you need... Oh, goals. I get it. Football. I get it, Steve. Brilliant. Gary's got too many goals, or maybe we need to just drill down into what is going to be your push goal, Gary, and that push goal is the one that you could do now that would make all the others easier. It's like a domino effect. Look at the one, it might be like, actually, you know what, to attain these other 6 goals, I need to have more money. Thus, your goal right now is to find something that's going to get you that money beforehand. So 1, you've got to have goals. 2, strong concentration and focused attention are required. If you struggle with strong concentration and focus, you want to get yourself... I find just getting myself sometimes out of the space I'm normally in, get myself many times to a coffee shop on my own and go, this is the place that, gives me a bit more focused attention because I've got no more, distractions that I have when I'm here. I've got quite a lot of distractions here. But I've got a lot to do. I still have to spend a lot of time here. Sometimes you've got to get out of your environment in order to get concentration and focus. 3, the thing you're doing has got to be intrinsically rewarding. There's no point in going after some shit that's like, well, I want to get better at maths. Well, for what? Well, because I'm not very good at it. Yeah, but is it rewarding? Are you going to get anything out of it? You're doing it for the sake of it. I don't want to get better at maths. 4, you lose self-consciousness a bit and feel serene. Don't know if any actors lose self-consciousness when they're on a stage, do you? Do you know what? How many people here, when they get into a character, suddenly feel less self-conscious than they do when they're themselves? I bet that's probably everybody. Oh, and Sam says when she wasn't being honest with herself, she was a dabbler. Okay, about what you really wanted. Interesting, Sam. That's good. Good realisation. Fanny says yes all the time on that in terms of feeling less self-conscious as a character as opposed to herself. I think a lot of actors feel that because you get... I'm definitely like that when I play... a silly voice, or I can do something as Alan Partridge or something like that, and then to go actually to do that scene as myself, it's much harder. 5, time stops. You feel so focused on the present that you lose track of time. That's when you know you're in flow. That's when I know I'm in flow, when I look up at the clock and go, shit, 3 hours have gone by. Or like tonight where I went, oh my God, I've got 14 minutes and I've got to do a live broadcast, and I've still not set it up on Facebook. You'll notice the Facebook video didn't actually go on there till about 8 minutes to 9 or something like that. I'm more real on stage, Fanny says, than Fanny is herself. So yeah, time flying by is a real is a real big one when you know you're in flow. Number 6, you're getting immediate feedback on your performance. Number 7, there's a balance between your skill level and the challenge presented. You know that what you're doing is doable, even if it's difficult. That's the thing about setting those goals. They've got to be attainable, but they've still got to stretch you. There's no point in setting goals that you can definitely do. They've got to be difficult. Because that's where the reward comes from. 8, you've got a sense of personal control over the situation and the outcome. 9, you stop thinking about your physical needs. That's again when time stops. Suddenly it's like, I used to do it when I was editing and I knew I was in flow, and I get to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and go, God, I don't even feel like I need sleep, or food or drink. I've not eaten for 8 hours. I'm just in flow in this edit. It's not recommended. You definitely need to eat and sleep. And 10, you have the ability to focus completely on the activity in hand. You can use this list of conditions to increase the odds you'll bring your A game to those you hope to serve. Perhaps this last part about serving others is what makes flow even more powerful. That's why I ask that you frame this practice as an opportunity to bring your A game for someone else. Look beyond your individual performance or feelings and connect with a reason to be your best for others. Find somebody or something worth fighting for. If you can stoke the necessity to be your best in order to help others, you'll hit high performance faster and stay there longer. Helen says editing does that to her as well. Editing's a big one for me. If I'm in the edit, I'm like, spend hours there editing video. I think there's a lot of truth in that. I think half of the fact, it's you guys for me, even this tonight, it's the fact that it's like, it's all you lot that make me do this. Like, I want to do it, but, for me, it's a necessity to jump. This is broadcast number 220 tonight. And that's every Monday, every Wednesday. And actually, for the first 30 of these broadcasts, it was every single night. And that wasn't because I just wanted to do it. I did, and I enjoy this. It's a way that, I can keep myself growing, and I learn a shitload from reading these books. I probably wouldn't read these books if it wasn't for you guys, in this this broadcast that we do every Wednesday. But it is doing it for others that very often leads to areas of my life that I would class as where I perform highly, high performance areas. It's doing it for other people, and that isn't like. It's not a selfless thing. In some ways, it's really selfish because it's like, actually, you know what? I know by using, a platform and a community of people that I will better myself whilst bettering other people. So it's not truly selfish, but it's not completely selfless. It's not like I'm not Mother Teresa going, right, all I want to do is help people. People who say that are just bullshitting as well. Hear a lot of people who go, I just want to help people. I just want to help them all the time. So that's why I've set this course. It's $2,000. Well, you don't then, do you? If you want to help people, you'd give a shitload of your time for free. You'd give them your email address. You'd give them your phone number, and you'd tell them to ring you at any time or email you at any time. They don't just want to help people. And you can't either, Otherwise, how do you bloody survive? You've got to earn some money at some point. But I hate that whole, I'm so altruistic. You're not. At all. Performance prompts, right? We're going to look at 7 things that I want you to think about. And Wendy says it makes you feel good when you help people. It does. That's the selfish part about it as well. I feel great doing all the stuff that I do. It's certainly not a chore. It's nearly 10 o'clock at night and we're all on air. I mean, I'm massively grateful for you guys spending this time, but I really enjoy it as well. So it's selfish in that sense, There's no point in doing stuff that you hate just in order to help people. If you do stuff you love that helps other people, it's a win-win, isn't it? Answer some of these questions for me now. We can look at The Alchemist in the book club, Fanny. I've got it on the bookshelf behind me there. Answer these questions for me, right? Number 1, the people who need me on my A game at this point in my life are... Tell me. Let's do it. Right now, the people who need me, or it could be one person, who need me on my A game at this point in my life are... Just the first person who comes to mind. Who needs you on your A game right now? Let's get some clarity before we end this. We've got 10 minutes of this left. Let's answer these questions. So Fanny says myself, and that's a legitimate answer as well. Because if you are not full and you're not fulfilled, Fanny, you can't help anybody else. Dawn says myself as well. Lucy says my kids. Bobby says his family. Anyone specifically in the family, Bobby? Fellow actors in the plays I'm in. That's a great one to hold you accountable, Wendy. You ain't gonna, you're not gonna just cancel rehearsal with if you've got a little sniffle. If other people are relying on you. My producer says Gary because Gary's a writer. The people who need me to bring my A game tomorrow, without a doubt, are going to be those other 3 actors who I'm going to be voicing the first 5 episodes. I think we're doing of this animation tomorrow. That director's going to need me to be on my A game because the client from BBC America is coming over. The cast and crew of the film I'm trying to make now, says Bobby as well. There's nothing more motivating than wanting to impress somebody, says Helen. Absolutely. It's when it's not just about yourself, it just makes everything else easy, doesn't it? My daughter says George or David George. I always forget which name you go by, the Leon David George. But he says my daughter. Sam says her daughter as well. I did get it, Wendy. Wendy, you missed an announcement at the beginning. Yeah, I got that animation. Total proper result. So yeah, the people who need me on my A game at this point in my life are, just think about that, okay? We've got to think bigger than ourselves. The reasons each of those people need me include, let's have a think about why they need you. What are the reasons those people need you? Thank you, Wendy. Whether it's your daughter or your other castmates, in the play, why do they need you there? Well, the castmates in the play need you there because they can't put on the play without you, to be honest, Wendy. And those who are thinking about their daughters, your daughters probably can't operate in life without you. Because everything stems from self, says Fanny. Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, sometimes the best way to be selfless in general is to be selfish for a little bit. Take yourself away, fill yourself up, because if you don't do that now and again, you have nothing to give anyone else anyway. You can't, give everything away all the time and expect there to be anything left to give after, a couple of weeks. If you've just been running around helping everybody else and you've not had anybody helping you. And that's why mentors are so important. And, focus groups and just getting out and meeting friends and people who inspire you and charge your batteries. It's so important. Number 3, the reasons I want to become a high performer for each of these people are. So it's ever so slightly different. So the reasons they need you are going to be, probably quite base reasons. You're their dad or you're their mum. But the reasons that you want to become a high performer for each of those people is going to be different. That might be actually, I want to become a high performer because I want to inspire them to think even bigger than they do already, or I want them to be proud of me for whatever. I want to be able to earn more money to be able to provide them with things that maybe you didn't have or whatever, you've got going on there. You've got reasons yourself to become a high performer for each of those people. Okay, and then number 4, I know that I'm on my A game when I think, feel, or behave, ... In what way? How do you, I know I'm on my A game when I really kind of like when I'm thinking bigger, so when I'm pushing myself, I know I'm on my A game, definitely. When I feel, I was trying to explain this to Petch, Lee, who films my vlog from the other day. I was saying, sometimes I have like a feeling right here, like in the core of my being, when I know I'm on my A game. It almost is like there's something trying to kind of like, it sounds like an alien, something trying to almost like push out of my chest. It's almost like just a feeling of like, I don't know, excitement. And I just have, but it's not in my head. It's not in my brain. It's not that. It comes really from within. So I know when I'm on my A game, when I'm feeling that, and I'm behaving. I know when I'm on my A game, and I'm just behaving. I'm doing the right thing for the right. I'm not snapping at little things or little things that are little things that would annoy me. Normally aren't annoying me. I'm like, actually, you know what? Things are good. I know that feeling. Ross says, Dawn. And I missed a couple of other comments there. Apologies for that, guys. But you'll know you're on your own game when you're thinking a certain way, you're feeling a certain way, and you're behaving a certain way. I know I'm on my A game when I'm just bursting with gratitude, to be honest. Honestly, and that can feel euphoric sometimes, where it's almost like, oh my God, I can't believe how well everything's kind of going. Like, I just really need it to stay like this. Living in the moment, says Helen. Yeah, definitely. When you're present, that's when you know you're on your A game, probably, when you're not worrying about yesterday and you're dreading tomorrow. The things that throw me off my A game, this is important to know. What are the things that throw you off your A game? For me, it's an untidy environment. It completely screws me up. If you can see this desk now, it's beautiful, spotless, honestly. Those in the audio experience, you can't see anything, but just imagine the most pristine looking desk ever. I've cleaned everything, all my camera equipment, everything's clean. I've polished my iPad. This is super clean. My iWatch is down here. Everything's just neat and tidy and just beautifully laid out, because I know that's the one thing that throws me off my A game the most, just a shitty environment. I can't focus in a poor environment. I need light as well, bright light, dark environments throw me off my A game because of my eye condition. I hate it. I hate going anywhere where it's dull. I just feel like shit, and I struggle to get around, to be honest. Holidays throw my routine out of whack completely. Totally. My brother got married at the weekend, Bobby. I had 3 days off. My God, I had to get that vlog edited on the Sunday night when I came back to get it out on Monday morning. I'm totally behind. Mess as well for Fanny. Smells and eating too much sugar throw you off your A game. Haribo is a weakness of mine. Sam says, on my A game when I'm feeling centered, even when I'm out of my comfort zone, my gut says it's right. Awesome, Sam. He says, when I allow fear to get in the way is when it throws off our A game. I think that's like universal for everyone, that, Sam. I think we've all been there. Definitely. Bobby, I missed that comment, mate. I'm so sorry. Could you put it again? I can deal more effectively with those things by... So for me, I can deal with a messy environment more effectively by actually tidying up more often. I normally like tidy my office, kind of maybe once a week on a Sunday when I do my accounts. You know what? If I actually didn't leave it till it was one big job, and maybe I did a little spruce up on a Wednesday, and I'd only need a little spruce up on a Sunday then, as opposed to something, like a massive cleanup operation. Helen says not enough sleep screws her up, throws off her A game. So for you then, that's easy. You can deal effectively with that by just getting to bed earlier, Helen. After this, you're going straight to bed. Taking action that I know is the right thing to do. It's going to make it easier for you to deal effectively with the things that throw you off your A game, Fanny. It's interesting. I think sometimes like this is all stuff that we feel we know intuitively, but it's not until you actually ask yourself that question that you really find out what the answer is and you become conscious of it. I think that is important to do, definitely. And then the last question, so he says, all right, Dad. Yeah, listen, get to bed, son. Procrastinating throws Mary off. Yeah, well, one way you can deal more effectively with that is to, just 5-second rule. Make a decision, Mary. Just go, look, I'm going to make this decision now. Do it. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Last one, number 7. A few reminders I could set up for myself to be my best for the people in my life could include. What could you do that's going to remind you to be your best? And it's this exercise, this desk trigger that we read about at the very beginning. Sitting at your desk or might be when you're brushing your teeth, you know. It don't have to be a desk. Whatever could be your trigger, you know, something you do every day. I hope we all clean our teeth every day. I'm a bit obsessive really about that. Ask yourself, let me get the page up here. Ask yourself the question that Brendon said before, which was, I want to get the wording of it right. Who needs me on my A game the most right now? Whilst you're brushing your teeth, answer that. Who every morning, set yourself up for a great day. Who needs me on my A game the most right now? You could set yourself post-it notes up around the house. Anyone do that? Stick them on mirrors and things like that. I've done that. I've got alarms set on my phone sometimes. I journal every night just before I go to sleep. You could put an alert in that. But yeah, just think of a few reminders you could set up for yourself to be the best for the people in your life. Because ultimately, it'd be a lonely bloody world if you're just doing it all for yourself, wouldn't it? You know, I think that's what happens to a lot of people. You look at a lot of people who have achieved massive success, and when they've got, when they're just doing it for themselves, or suddenly they just end up really super, super lonely, and it screws people up massively. Screws the relationships up, and it's about we're social beings, aren't we? We need company and connection with other people. But those questions conclude raising necessity tonight. Just that chat we want to look at, and it's something I've never really I've never coined it as necessity before, but it is that that need is absolutely necessary. That must. Tony Robbins always says, you get things done when you turn your shoulds into musts. And he says, if you should do it, you must do it, and if you must do it, then you can do it. And I think that applies to a lot of people with everything from healthy eating. How many people go, I should eat better? Tell me that all the time. Yeah, I should eat better. Well, why aren't you? You should. If you actually stop saying should, and you relabeled that word to I must eat better, that trigger might actually force you to do it, or at least have a bit more of a give you a bit more of a drive and a necessity than saying, yeah, I should do that. Or I'd like to do that, or yeah, I should work out more. Well, why aren't you working out more? You just come up with all the excuses under the sun if you think about them. But turn your shoulds into musts, definitely. Bobby says you're amazing, Ross. Thank you, Bobby. I'm not that amazing, really, at all. You guys are all amazing for being on here on a Wednesday night at nearly 10 o'clock. I always say I need to lose weight, but I don't, says Fanny. So you must lose weight then in that case, in a healthy way. Not by starving yourself or doing anything mental. I see all these things like these, these cleanses and all the. Look, I lost 10 pounds in a week on all I drank was aloe vera juice and I ate a piece of cardboard for dinner. And I see these people doing before and after pictures, and I see progress. I go, okay, yeah, you've lost all that weight or whatever. 2 weeks later, it's all back on because they've not changed their lifestyle. They just went on a diet, and that's bullshit. There's no such thing really as diets. We're all on a diet. I mean, our diets consist of whatever we put in our body. That's a diet. We're consistently on a diet of sorts. You've got to make sure your diet is nutritionally sound. And it's very simple. Formulaically, ultimately, healthy food plus more exercise equals less calorie intake, more calorie burn equals losing weight. That's it. I mean, that is absolutely it. In a nutshell. And I saw a program that was really interesting the other day on losing weight, and there was a woman who was testing people's actual DNA makeup to go on a scale of 1 to 12. It was how likely their DNA would make them hold weight. So, people say, oh, it's impossible for me. My makeup, it just means that I hold weight. I'm different to everybody else. All these limiting beliefs that people have. And there was 3 couples, and the ones who were really overweight all scored between 3 and 6 on this scale out of 12. So quite low on the scale. They shouldn't be holding weight. Their DNA would suggest they shouldn't. So it can't really be that. It has to be the fact that they're eating too much and they're not exercising enough. The woman who was presenting the show, super great shape. She actually scored a 10 out of 12. She's the one who should be holding the weight, but because she exercises every day, eats healthily, she isn't. It's because she has a necessity, a drive, a must. Well, because she's a nutritionist. If you're a nutritionist, I guess you must, have good nutrition. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing? But that's what it is. It's like those other people were just like, oh, I should eat a bit healthier. I should be able to lose weight, but I can't. Well, actually, you know what? If you must, you can. And that just applies to whatever in life, guys. Acting career, bloody anything, relationships, food, money, just anything. I retain water. Then Wendy says, no, you retain chips. It's very true, Wendy. I hear it all the time, man, honestly. I must get organised, says Sam on Facebook. Absolutely. Well, what can you do, Sam? What's the thing that you could do then to get more organised, do you think? And do you need any help with like apps? Like I say, I organise everything in my life as something called Workflowy. So does anyone else here use it? I've banged on about it for months. Anyone actually use it in their life? Or is it just me who thinks it's good? Doesn't matter. I'm not saying you have to use it. It's just something that I like. But it's free, Sam. Workflowy, so flow with a Y.com. Sign up for a free account and you can list everything out and it syncs on your phone and your computer and everywhere you go. So if you make a change on one, it changes on them all. And I have things to do today, things to do this week, things to do this month. And I just move them from each section up. So when the things from today have done, the things from this week move up, and the things from this week are done, the things from this month move up. Dead simple. I'm old school pen and paper and probably always will be. Well, Fanny, did you see on my vlog? I've not actually got 2 of these through now. Full focus planners, Michael Hyatt's full focus planners. I've not tried it yet, but this is. Do you know what, Sam? This is what you need. Full Focus Planner by Michael Hyatt. How can I show you this? I can't really. But basically, in it, you use one of these a quarter, and it's got everything that you plan for. I mean, I'll read you some of this. Fill out the goal summary and goal templates and identify which goals you're pursuing this quarter. Design your ideal week for maximum focus. Use the weekly big 3 to decide what you must accomplish. This week to bring you closer to your goals. Chart your goal progress with weekly reviews. Conduct a quarterly review to take stock and maintain momentum towards your annual goals. There's loads of things in between. Things like build daily rituals that will simplify your schedule, track your tasks and take notes with daily pages. Rest and rejuvenate by using the weekend optimizer. Use the notes and index to help keep track of big ideas all year long. It's pen and paper. Fanny, if you like that, pen and paper and you're old school, I'm super digital. So for me, I'm trying this out. I'm going to start it probably on Monday, it's foreign to me to do that, but if you're old school pen and paper, get yourself out at fullfocusplanner.com. I think it is. Michael Hyatt makes them. They're about $100 for a whole year. I think that's what I paid. I'm pretty sure I paid about $99, Fanny, for the entire year, so I get 4 for the year. So they're not cheap. $25 each, £20 a go, I guess, but it lasts you 3 months. So it's not that bad. Well, ultimately, if you're going to be achieving through it, it's a total bargain. Love that, says Sam. Chris Stone has joined. He's in the house. All right, Christoph. We're just talking about being more efficient. Chris Stone's other half, Steph, super efficient. Deals with all of Chris's bookings and stuff with his showreel stuff and millions of emails and stuff. Steph must have some killer systems, Chris, on organisation. But yeah, check out Full Focus Planner. Is there a web address on here? I don't know if there's a web address on here. But no, but it looks like that. There's the logo. Full. Have you noticed how this webcam's white balance goes completely off and I just look like I'm completely jaundiced? I'm not. If I turn this lamp off, there you go, look a bit whiter. Those in the audio experience, you haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. Whenever I put a blue t-shirt on, sends the white balance crazy on the camera. Right, well, I digress. I love you and leave you guys. Thank you so much. I hope that's been... I just want it, again, like always, just a reminder, innit, We've got to turn our shoulds into musts. got to stop procrastinating, Mary. You know, we've got to stop that fear from getting in, Sam. We've got to, I've definitely got to keep more organised and like clean environment so that I can be on my A game. And think about who needs you on your A game the most. And you know what? Today it could be you. Tomorrow it's a family member. The day after it's a cast member in something that you're in, hopefully. Could be your kids, your parents. I missed whatever comment everyone's laughing at there. Sorry, I missed that. That's probably Steve with another crazy comment as always. But yeah, just have a think about who needs you most. And it can be you. If it's you, make sure you take some time out for you. I tweeted you a video I made earlier. Please give it a watch. All right, Helen, I will do. Thank you very much. I'll give it a little retweet for you as well. If anyone else wants to tweet me, at ActOnThisTV, at Ross A. Grant. If you need anything promoting or anything like that, tweet me. If you've got a play coming up and you want people to go, all that kind of stuff, come and check out the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/ActOnThisTV. There's 7,500 actors in there now. Super inspired, motivated, helpful people. There's no negativity. There's no classified ads selling you shit. I don't allow any of that. That's just nonsense. I'm not having that at all. It's just a place to get value from, and where you can ask questions in a safe environment and hopefully get the answers that are going to help you progress further. So yeah, hope that's cool. Have I told you all, I want to pay for somebody's Spotlight subscription. I don't know if I told you this. I sent it out in an email the other day, but you might not have read it. What I want to do, just a little reward for those who watch my vlog. If you go over to youtube.com and you just search for Watch Ross, the hashtag Watch Ross, so put in hashtag Watch Ross, all one word. You'll find at the moment there's 3 episodes up there. You'll see them because they're super colourful thumbnails. You'll see an orange one, a pink one, and a blue one. Click onto one of those videos and you'll find my channel. Okay, at the moment I don't have a simple way to get you to the channel because I don't have a unique name for the channel. You know, like youtube.com/whatever. It's still a whole load of gobbledygook right now. In order for me to change that, I need lots of subscribers. So to get people to subscribe and then to thank you for subscribing, if you subscribe and leave a comment on the videos. You can leave multiple comments if you want, just like one per video. You don't have to leave loads. No cheating on this because every comment you leave is going to be an entry into a prize draw later this year, at the end of the year, a couple of months' time. Only got 8 weeks to the end of the year or whatever. I'm going to be drawing one person at random. If you're an actor, I'm going to pay for your Spotlight for next year. So it's like 150 quid saved. If you're not an actor, I'm just going to pay for something cool for you. Whatever. I'll get you a Amazon Echo or a Kindle, or I don't know, what can you get for 150 quid? I'll give you the equivalent. I'm not giving you cash because I want to get you something cool, but I will give you the equivalent of a Spotlight subscription. If you're not an actor. Gary says, oh god, 8 weeks. Yeah, we're on October the 11th now, Gaz. Bloody hell, man. Not long left at all. Because when I say to people, I'm going to do this prize draw at the end of the year, they think, oh god, it's ages away. It's not at all. It's just a couple of months. So yeah, it's like, what is it really? Like probably about 11 weeks or something like that. But yeah, get yourself over there, search for Watch Ross on YouTube, subscribe, and then leave a comment. If you leave a comment on every video, every comment you leave is going to be a prize draw entry effectively, and I will draw it at random. I'll do it fairly as well, like on a live broadcast, so you see that there's nothing untoward going on. It's totally legit. I'll choose somebody, and then you get your Spotlight paid for if you're an actor, or if not, we'll get you something pretty cool instead. Thank you, Sam. It says thank you. Needed this tonight. Well, there you go. Hope that's served you well. And yeah, get on your A game, Sam. It's only Wednesday. We've got 2 days left. Let's smash it out of the park. Gary, I noticed, mate, you signed up, you subscribed via your company. Yeah, and I noticed it was you. You put your name on there, mate. I'm going to go actually and reply to all of the comments tomorrow, actually, after this animation. Thank you, Bobby. Massively appreciate you being here. Thank you, Mary. Appreciate you being here. Can't wait to get the vlog out on Monday. I've already filmed it. I'm going to start editing it tomorrow. It's ridiculous. It's day 2. Lee went on holiday, so me and Sean had to film the vlog ourselves. So we're doing a lot of like selfie kind of cam. It was actually ridiculous. And we took everywhere we went as well. We got kicked out. We took the camera into a bar in Media City, got kicked out. But funnily, we got all the getting kicked out on film. So that'll go in the vlog. It's hilarious. I think you'll enjoy it. So yeah, check that out. Make sure you go and subscribe on YouTube. And if you want to watch on Facebook, if you prefer Facebook, facebook.com/WatchRoss. So get out of here, be on your A game, We'll be doing a new book next week. Let me know any, I don't know, like preferences for that, or any recommendations for stuff you've read recently. Post it in the Facebook group or tweet me again, and we'll be back next Wednesday for some more book club action. Back on Monday first, though, at 9 p.m. for motivation and mind hacks. Until then, and I will let you know. Yeah, thank you, Dawn. Says have a great day tomorrow. I will let you. I'll let you know how that animation goes tomorrow, and I just hope they'll let me. Show you guys behind the scenes. I know they're definitely going to let me vlog some of the stuff because I've already asked. They're not going to let me show you any of the actual animation. That'll be completely off limits. But I hope I can get like the other actors on the vlog and they can give tips and advice out on voiceover. The engineers, the director. It's such a lovely team. I've worked with them before, so I think they'll be cool with it. Right, anyway, get to bed. And Helen, get to bed. You need some sleep. Right, I'm definitely going. Thanks for those listening on the audio experience. Until next time, bye for now.